Hello, hello, hello everyone. It is Teresa from Tracie Spot for All Things Art, where I love sharing art from my heart and teaching you how to create a little joy in your life through some fun, simple, and quick art projects. Hello, day two of 31 days of Halloween. Thank you. So hi everyone. We are going to get started. I'm getting myself organized. I'm going to trace on my outline. So yes, we are doing 31 days of Halloween. It is going to be awesome. There's 25 of us, I believe. One person has a couple of days. I have a couple of days, and it is all going to be cool. Not everyone is painting. There's going to be a lot of painters, but not everyone is painting. I will explain the background to you guys in a second. I want to get this traced on first. So I have my tracer, and I'm just outlining the basic shape of my design. Some people think this is cheating. I don't think so. I like to say, if there's a tool and it's going to make my life easier, I am all for it. And that's it. There's no reason we have to draw. You can draw if you want. Nobody tells you can't draw, but drawing, honestly, is a totally other skill. There are people who can draw amazing, but can't paint. There are people who can paint, but can't draw. There are people who can do both. And then, of course, there are people who can do neither. And every one of those people is okay. So, I am getting better at drawing. Could I whip this up? Sure, if I wanted to. Would my gnomes be all the same size and shape? Probably not. They'd be a little bit more wonky. So I'm going to use the tracer that has been provided to me by another artist, Miss Tracie Kiernan. I belong to her membership and love her designs. Okay, and let's get the pumpkin in. There we go. So I just put in the basic shapes. I don't go in and put in all the details. I'm going to lift up to make sure I have what I need. I forgot his pants. See what happens? This guy had no pants and no feet. Okie doke. All right, let's get rid of this and put that there. Get rid of this. I like to be somewhat organized when I paint. Okay. So I have out my purple, my black, and my white. So originally I did the background. It was almost a dry brush with white, purple, and a little bit of black. It made some gray in there too, but it was a little bit of black. And then I did the bottom part with I didn't even clean my brush. I did the bottom part with black and white. I'm probably going to add a little bit more white to that. I want to lighten that up a little bit. So in spots I'm going to add some white, and in spots I'm going to add a little bit more darkness to shadow under their feet. I want this. I missed a color, you guys. Here it is. This is one of my favorite colors. It's Juneberry, and that is the color we will be doing this guy in on the left. Okay, so I have a little black. I'm putting out this Juneberry. Let me get a paintbrush and we will get started. I'm just rinsing off my paintbrush. I'm going to dry it over here. So, I did the background, little dry brush technique, purple, white, and black. I did not do my edges because I think I'm going to do something fun on my edges at the end. This calls for that, okay? And then the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start painting in my gnome's clothes. So when I start painting, I use the chisel edge of the brush, and I'm going to outline the shape that I'm painting in. Okay, I'm just going around his whole hat. It does not have to be perfect. Okay, and then I'm going to fill this part, and then I'm going to fill it in. So this is Juneberry. You can do your gnome hats and little pants. You don't really see the pants. They kind of just stick out from underneath the beards. You could do them any color you want. This one's going to be this Juneberry. The middle one is going to be black, and the one on this end is going to be blue. But you can do yours any colors you want. And then, like I said, the background was purple, and then some black and some white, and it was just dry brushed in there. I didn't want to overblend. And then I'm just going to come down here and fill in. Now, if you need a smaller brush down here, pick one up. I'm not really worrying about the lines and worrying about being perfect down here, because when I come back and do my beard is going to hang over the pants, and the shoes will clean up any lines down here on the bottom. So I'm just worrying about right now base coating in the basics. I'm not even going to wash my brush, and I'm going to go straight to the black. I wiped it off a little bit on my rag, and I'm going to go straight to the black and start doing this guy. And again, we're going to do his and his pants. Okay, I picked up a little white there, but I don't care because I would have been hitting that with some highlights anyway. The white is in there from when I did my background, and I'm not going to worry about it. A lot of times when we're painting, I know especially as a beginner, we get very caught up in little things like, oh, I messed it up, I ruined it. I got some white in there. Don't fret, you guys. It's paint, and you can fix anything. Okay, base coated in his hat, and I'm going to use the little corner of my brush and come down here and do the same thing down here with his pants. And again, I'm not worrying about being perfect or extremely neat. His pants are going to get a lot of highlight because we're going to have to differentiate between his pants and his black shoes. And his beard is going to cover some of the pants, and it's all good. And again, I'm just wiping off my brush, and I'm going right into the blue. If you wanted to, you can wash your brush. For this, I'm not really worrying about it. It doesn't make that much of a difference if you have a little bit of shading, and I have some black in my brush when I do my blue. If you wanted to draw your own, it's all good. The only thing, you want the hat to have a unique shape to it. You want it to be curled and go every which way. And that's it. It doesn't have to be exactly like mine. You just want it to be a little bit of a shape to it. You don't want it to be just a cone head. Okay, and let's fill that in. Oh, you know what I'm going to do too while I have the black out? I'm going to go back to my black, and I'm going to fill in my cauldron. Again, I didn't even wash the brush. I just wiped off the blue, and I'm coming in here with the cauldron. If I had been smarter, I would have just done it right when I did the second gnome with the black. But that's okay. Totally okay. Now this is just color blocking, background, whatever you want to call it. This is just filling in the shapes. So if this was a kit, it would come with all the paint you need, a pre-traced canvas, and you would be doing exactly what I'm doing, step by step, filling in the shapes, and then our project progresses as we go in to add the details and whatnot. Okay, so I have my cauldron, we have the clothes for our gnomes. I'm going to mix a little gray paint here. I want some white, a lot of white actually. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to base coat my beards. I don't want to overmix. I want to see white, I want to see black, I want to see gray. And I'm just stroking it in here. I'm skipping the pumpkin one for now because that's going to take some thought. Going around the noses. I need a little bit more white. And again, this is just putting the colors where we need them. I want to make my beards a little bit more scraggly, so I'm pulling down with my chisel edge. I picked up a little bit more white for this one because we want to be able to see the difference between that beard and the one next to it. So I made this one a little bit lighter by adding white to my brush. And I'm just pulling down. I want all my beard hairs to go the same way. And then I want my mustache to flick out. And again, this is only the base coat. So we have the beard going down and the mustache flipping out. And there we go. That's what we have to begin with. And now I'm going to wash my brush. Okay. I don't know if you can see, See up in here, my black has come through a little bit. Now I know I painted that. Sometimes the grooves in these canvases get little air bubbles and you think you painted something and then next thing you look back and it's white again because those little air bubbles pop. Okay. So I'm going to get out some orange, a little bit of orange, and a little bit of yellow. And I have a little brush. Let me get my liner brush. I'm going to go in now and I want to put in the handle of my broom. Okay? And wash that. There's a reason I go in a particular order. I usually work from what's, I'm going to do my spider too. I work from what's in the back forward. The beards, the final part of the beards is going to be one of the last things we do. We want our beards to then go over our shoes, maybe. They might go over. The middle guy is holding the pumpkin. So that's why I go in and I base coat my beards first. And then I'll get back to them later on. This way we make some wispy, crazy, curly beard hair. And it just goes wherever it wants to go. When I do this guy's shoes, I'm adding a little bit of white because we want them to be a little bit lighter and contrast with his pants. Because this guy's wearing black pants. I'm going to go back to the black for this one. Okay, and then we have our little star going into our cauldron. I'm going to need a little bit of lime green. I think I will start with I'm going to go into the same order that I went the first time. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to put a nice sash across his hat. And I want to add a little bit of, just a little highlight to his hat. Okay, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight to his shoes and his pants. Okay, I'm going to wash my brush. And then I'm going to move to the second guy. And the first thing I'm going to do, fill in the pumpkin. I'm using my liner brush for this. You can use a small flat brush. I like to add a little bit of yellow highlight to my pumpkin. I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And I'm going to start adding some stripes into his hat. I'm putting a little bit of pressure on my brush, but they're about a brush width thick with my liner brush. Wash my brush. I'm going to go back to my broom. When I do my broom, I want it to look wispy. So I'm dipping in the yellow and I'm pulling down separate strokes. I'm not filling in the whole thing. Pick up a little bit of white, pull that in. I want the bottom to be uneven and little wisps. And then I'm going to pull in some up here as if the hay is sticking up the top. Okay? And I'm going to add a few stars to this guy's hat. And I'm just doing them like a regular star. The A, the up, the cross, the down, and fill it in. If you wanted to do polka dots, if you felt like stars were too much trouble or too hard for you, you can do polka dots. When I do polka dots, I use the back of the brush. And I'm just drawing in these 5 points. And there we go. You can do as many or as few as you want. Okay? I'm not even going to clean my brush. I'm going to pick up some of this beautiful lime green we have. And I'm going to go in here and I'm going to fill in the potion, whatever we got brewing here in the cauldron. Okay? And then I'm going to take my green and I'm tapping. Whatever it is brewing and it's bubbling up. Okay, I'm going to wash that off. I'm going to go into my white now. I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm doing all of this with the back of my brush. Okay, now it looks like we got a little movement in there coming up out of our cauldron. I'm going to wash my brush again. Go to my black. I want to put a band here on my, and up here on my broom. It's these little details that start really helping our artwork come together. And back into my white. Highlight on one foot, highlight on the other foot, highlight my cauldron. I want some white down here, put a little white highlight on his pants. I'm going to go back to my original brush. This is about a 1/2 inch or about maybe a 1/4 inch flat brush. I'm going to mix a little bit of the blue and a tiny bit of the black, And I'm just going to come in here and scrub shadow underneath their feet and underneath the cauldron. Get a little black. I'm using my brush about on a 45. I'm just scrubbing it back and forth, and I'm adding some shadow down here. If you wanted to just do it in the black, you could. I like to add a little blue to it, tones it down a little bit, especially for this. So there we have some shadow. We have our broom, and I'm going to come up here. We're going to put a buckle on this part of his hat. And I'm just using my brush on the chisel edge and doing 4 lines. 2 vertical, 2 horizontal, and there we have our buckle. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the beard as I did with, I need some more white, the broom. Okay. Getting some nice fresh white out. And I'm just going to start pulling in some little strokes of white. We want the gray to show through the back. They can overlap a little bit. This is why I said it was okay. We do the pants and the shoes first, because as we're pulling these in, the bottom is uneven, and some of them are going to go over his pants and some of them are going to go over his shoe. And we just want messy beard. In this case, he has that big mustache, so I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that. But I have my pointer finger hanging out, and I'm just pulling in these strokes for his beard. The side ones curve a little bit to the middle, and the middle ones just basically go straight down. I still want to be able to see some of the gray, and now I'm outlining his mustache, and I'm going to do the same thing with his mustache. Now if you get to the point where you have like too much white, just pick up some black or mix some gray and work it in there. The important thing is to not have it just be one solid color. You want to see the strokes. You want to see the messiness of his beard or mustache. I like to outline it, but then I'm coming in here with the gray and the black and pulling it out to the end. I let my brush get a little bit dry on the ends, and I just keep layering it in here. Now if you don't want to fight with the mustache, just do 3 beards like we did, like the other 2. Yours doesn't have to have a mustache. If you think the mustache is too hard for you, you don't want to do these small strokes, then you can just go in and do the beards just like they are on the guy with the black hat and the guy with the blue hat. If yours starts to get to be more or less like one color, we want to let it dry, and then we'll come back to it and fix it. I'm moving over to this guy now because I have to finish my pumpkin first. So I'm just going to work on this guy while I have the white in my brush. Again, I want the bottom to be uneven. I'm just pulling down little strokes. See how close I'm holding my brush to the end? This gives me a lot more control over my strokes. And I'm just pulling in. This one goes out to the side. It's cute. We probably, I know we definitely used to decorate more for Halloween. Yes, I know Halloween isn't for everyone, but if you're watching this, I assume you're a Halloween person, or at least you're not anti-Halloween. But yeah, there was probably a time when we decorated more for Halloween than we did for any other holiday. Okay. All right, and before I do that middle guy, I want to do his jack-o'-lantern. Okay. So I'm going to put a stem. And then I always have a hard time with jack-o'-lantern mouths, I think. I don't really do. How many teeth do I put? Do I do 2 teeth? Do I do 3 teeth? Do I do teeth on the bottom? Just teeth on the top? I never know. I know it's a weird thing to struggle with, isn't it? I don't know why, but there he is. And I'm going to do his beard. So I'm going to go back to the white, and I'm going to start pulling in his hair for his beard. Now we still have hands to do, but the hands are like going to stick out from behind the beard. So again, it's all about steps and layering. So this is why I'm doing the beard first, and then we'll go in and do his hands. Pull a little line there. I don't mind if I get some of the beard on the pumpkin. I just want to be careful. So I make a little bit of a outline there, and it kind of keeps my eye to where I need it to be. Put a little bit more in there. So I want my beards to have a little bit of gray to them on the outside. So I'm just going to mix up a little bit of white and black, and I'm going to come in. I'm just going to start adding in a few grays here and there. Not too much. I don't want to overdo it, but just a few straps. There we go. I'm going to do my spider web up here. 1, 2. And then, now it doesn't matter how abstract or bad your spider looks. If you go back in and you give your spider 8 legs, it's a spider. Okay? That's all you need to know. Okay. Now I'm going to make a little bit of tan. Need a little bit of tan. Here it is. A little bit. So I'm going to mix a little bit of tan. I'm going to put a little bit of orange in there. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white in there. And I'm going to do our gnome nose. There's 1, 2, 3. And we're going to add our hands. Not have to be too detailed about it. They're gnomes. As long as you give them a thumb, it's all good. And then here. Okay, wash my brush a little bit. And then we're going to go back in and add a little bit of highlight to our noses, to our hand, to our brooms, to the buckle, a little bit to this hat. Even though it's orange, we still want to have a little bit of highlight to it. The same thing with the blue one. We can add a little highlight to our stars if we want. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight in here to the cauldron and the stick. And then I want to add a little bit of curly cues to the beard. I guess this is like my thing. I always like to come in when all is said and done and everything is dried on my gnomes and add these little snake-like, worm-like, curly cue hairs. Almost like, you know, his beard is really unruly and he's got all these thick hairs just doing whatever the heck they want to do. And I think there we have it. So, there we go. What do you guys think? So cute. So cute, so cute. So, thank you for joining me, everyone, and have a great day. Bye-bye.